Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be discussing the latest transfer rumours surrounding FC Barcelona over the past couple of days. So let's start off firstly with the arrival of Memphis Depay from Lyon, because Barcelona have reportedly made a bid of €25 million plus €5 million in add-ons for the Dutch international. And that's exactly what they wanted for Depay. They weren't willing to accept a €25 million on its own. And the €5 million in add-ons will probably be very achievable, because the add-ons will probably consist of things such as appearances, goals scored, and probably Barcelona reaching the knockout stages of the Champions League, potentially Barcelona winning La Liga. But these aren't the actual add-ons that are actually in his contract, but they are the usual suspects. And Lyon probably will get the full 30 million that they are looking for. But there were a lot of rumours regarding Umtiti in a swap deal for Depay, but the door is pretty much closed on that rumour, because Lyon just simply wouldn't be able to afford anything close to the money that he's currently on at Barcelona. And not to mention, Umtiti himself has no intentions of leaving Barcelona. And because he has been so injury prone over the past couple of seasons, I don't think that he will leave the club this summer, and we will have him as a backup centre-back. And speaking of centre-backs, Barcelona have made a second bid for Eric Garcia from Man City, and the bid that they have made is somewhere in the region between 10 and 15 million euros. So they haven't risen the bid by much, because the previous bid that they did make was in fact 10 million euros. But Man City might have to seriously look at accepting this, because even though they did originally value him at around 30 million euros, they did drop it down to 18, because Eric Garcia himself has expressed that he does not want to renew his contract and he does want to leave and join Barcelona. So that does leave Man City in a difficult position, because he is out of contract in June. So if they don't sell him before the 5th of October, it's most likely that he will sign a pre-agreement to join Barcelona in January. So that does mean when he does run out of contract, he can join Barcelona for free. Now let's quickly move on to the Arturo Vidal deal quickly. He's set to leave the club and has already said goodbye to his Barca teammates, so he should be exiting the club today and moving on to Inter Milan for a fee of only €500,000 plus add-ons. Now we don't know exactly how much the add-ons actually amount to, but it probably won't be more than €5 million. So I do wish him all the best at Inter Milan, because he does want to move and Barcelona do want to move him on, so it is good for both sides. So moving on from a deal with both sides in mutual agreement to the complete opposite. I am of course talking about the Luis Suarez situation, with both sides still bumping heads and still can't come to any sort of agreement to get Suarez out of the club. Now Suarez is still demanding that Barcelona pay him €15 million, which is the money that he would be earning if he stayed at the club one more year. And that is where the two are at a stalemate, because Barcelona have said that they will not be paying Suarez that 15 million, and if he does not agree to leave the club this summer, he will be banished to the stadium, he will not play any games, and he will not be allowed to train whatsoever with the team. And that is not a good look for Barcelona, nor is it feasible, because he would still be on that 15 million euros a year, and he'd just be sat wasting away in the stands. So what I think has to happen, that Barcelona have to come to an agreement with Suarez and give him possibly a few million as like a sort of gratuity amount, because Suarez has served Barcelona well and he has been one of the all-time top goal scorers, so he doesn't deserve to be pushed out the back door. So potentially a couple of million, so that he'll be happy and that we can send him on his way, because worst case scenario, still paying him at 50 million a year and he just wastes away in the stadium, and that would just be terrible for all parties. But this situation does have to be resolved soon, because Juventus have pretty much closed the door on the Suarez deal, because they've decided to look elsewhere towards Edin Dzeko, former Man City player and current Roma player, because of the complications with the Suarez deal. So it's looking like the only destination for Suarez will probably be Atletico Madrid. Now moving on to our young centre-back in Jean-Clair Todibo. I'm still sort of bewildered when it comes to Jean-Clair because the board are still pushing to get him out of the club for, in my opinion, no apparent reason. And the board have even came out and said that even if we weren't to sign Eric Garcia from Manchester City, that the board would still be trying to sell Todibo, even though we're still very thin at the back defensively. That they'd, even though that we wouldn't be able to sign a new player to fill that gap, that they'd still want to get rid of Todibo. And for me, it would make much more sense to try and get rid of Umtiti rather than Todibo, who's 20 and shown great potential, and Umtiti, on the other hand, who is 26 and has been extremely injury prone over the past couple of seasons. So it only makes sense to me to include Umtiti in the Depay deal and try and sell him off to Lyon, where he's even said himself that he would love to go back to Lyon, the team that we bought him from. Yeah, he would have to lower his wages, but that's his choice. It's either that or don't play at Barcelona. So for me, it's sell Umtiti and keep Todibo. So just quickly, I want to discuss the presentation of Pjanic. So even though he's not a player that I'm overly excited about him coming to the club, I still do think that he can bring a lot to the team because he is a very experienced player after all. But I'm not sure whether he's going to be playing a more defensive midfield role or an attacking, because I was under the impression he was more of an attacking midfielder, but under Coleman, when he did play on Saturday, he was a more defensive midfielder. So we're going to have to wait and see where exactly he's going to fit in the team. And just finally, there was an update on the vote count for the vote of no confidence against the current president and board. And the vote count is up to a total of 12,700, which is still 3,500 votes away from what we actually need. And to make it worse, there's only 2 days left. So if we do want to kick out the president and board, then we do need those last 3,500 in the next 2 days. So that's everything regarding the latest Barca news. Thank you everyone for joining me, and let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below. Bye.